You'll be surprised at how many people are not able to discern the difference between an American accent and a British accent. And this has become evident to me over the years when, because I live in Italy and I work with companies in mainland Europe, very often the accent expert is me, which means that the client will sometimes depend on me to provide a more informed opinion on what accent should be used, but also, even if they want a particular accent, I need to be the one to kind of present it to them and explain it to them. What has actually been quite common is discerning between shall we say, a more general American accent and and something like a mid-Atlantic accent. So something that kind of crosses between British and American, which perhaps has American vowels, but then uses British consonants. Other accents include Australian and as well as regional UK dialects. You need to make a conscious choice about what accent to use, because that accent will inform the audience's emotional response. You may also want to associate your product with some part of the world, and it means that that part of the world may have a distinctive accent which should be used. Now, you may think that American and British accents can be used universally, and I do think that for the most part you can, but if you want to optimize the content as much as possible, some markets and industries will have certain preferences for one over the other, whereas some might do better with a British accent, some might do better with an American accent. The accent kind of needs to fit the feeling, shall we say, that you're trying to get there. So sometimes an American accent can work better, sometimes a British accent can work better, which is just one of the reasons why I've learned to be able to perform in both accents, because my clients will sometimes want an American accent for one thing and then they'll want a British accent for the next thing. Like, it does happen. Now, let's say, for example, you have a video that's targeting Southeast Asia. A British accent can work very well for that, but you may actually want to use an Australian accent because an Australian accent is geographically closer. Even in Europe, certain countries actually tend to skew towards either American or British. I mean, more often than not, it's British. Alternatively, if perhaps you want to associate your product or service with Europe, then you can also employ what I call a general European accent, which means it's an accent that it varies from person to person. It has some features of European languages, so for example, softer consonants, perhaps slightly different vowel sounds, but it evokes Europe, shall we say. It doesn't sound like it's from any other region of the world. It sounds like it's from Europe. So how do I actually approach deciding what accent to use? Now, many times the client decides. The client decides, we want an American accent, we want a British accent, we want an Australian accent, we want somebody to sound like they live in the north of the UK. But instead, if I have to provide some level of consultation, then really I just try to ask questions about, what are you trying to actually say? What kind of feeling are you trying to move forward? And what accent would be best for that?